It indeed happened. Was it about women rights? But I know he wrote. I mean, there are great authors in this country who've written things that they would be in gold. And Chinua Achebe wrote, "There was a country." But then, I still believe in the project Nigeria. I know Nigeria can still stand if we want to, because clearly, it is very clear that the political structure in this country and the systems that run Nigeria are just destroyed, mesmerized, messed up, polluted. This is not to also say that there may be good voices, good people who stand for the right. But imagine you alone being the only right in the midst of rotten minds. You want to make a change? Rowdy session in Nigeria's House of Representatives over the move to rescind the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. That's what we're looking into already this morning. So on 17 February 2026, that was only yesterday, the Nigerian House of Representatives erupted in a chaotic rowdy session when Speaker Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, APC Kaduna, called for a voice vote on a motion to rescind the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025. Now, the motion sponsored by Honorable Francis Waive, who happens to be the House Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business, Delta State, of course, he's from, and seconded by Honorable Adebayo Balogun, Chairman House Committee on Electoral Matters, who's from Ogun State, sought to undo the December 2025 passage of the bill and send it back to the Committee of the Whole for fresh consideration, if you like. So Waive explained that a technical committee comprising leadership from both chambers, members of the conference committee from both chambers, members of the conference committee, clerks of the Senate and House, and legal drafters from the Directorate of Legal Services had identified inconsistencies and unintended consequences in the bill. Follow me now. Now, he argued that correcting these anomalies was essential to guarantee maximum participation, fairness, inclusivity, administrative efficiency, and public confidence, especially when we're looking ahead of the 2027 general elections. So when the speaker put the question to a voice note, the majority of lawmakers shouted nay. But Abbas ruled in favor of the ayes and struck the gavel. And this sparked loud protest and a temporary shutdown of proceedings. I mean, the House subsequently had to go into a closed-door executive session. Now, it doesn't even stop there. Oh, some more interesting angles to this. Meanwhile, on the same day, police in Abuja fired tear gas at peaceful #Occupy National Assembly demonstration outside the National Assembly. The protesters, civil society groups, youth activists, former Minister Obi Ezekwesili, former presidential candidates Omoyele Sowore, Adewale Adebayo, I think Peter Obi, all of the way there. They gathered to demand that lawmakers pass amendments to the Electoral Act that would mandate real-time electronic transmission of polling unit results to INEC's iRev portal. They also demanded that a 360-day notice period be restored for elections and impose tougher penalties for vote buying. Impose tougher penalties for vote buying. If you recall, the Senate declined that angle. He said, let's leave it to status quo. Let's leave it to status quo. No, come on, how many years? For many years ban? Really? No, it's too much. It's too much. The crowd they were practically chanting, "We no go agree. Akpabio, pass the bill." They were holding placards such as, "Don't alter the bill, pass it." Security operatives reportedly led by the National Assembly Divisional Police Officer deployed anti-riot officers fired multiple tear gas canisters into the crowd. I mean, the gas actually caused panic. It forced people to flee, of course, which was the idea in the first place. It left demonstrators injured. At least 2 were reported to have collapsed from the inhalation. After the initial disperse, the protesters regrouped near the gate and prompting police reinforcement to arrive in Hilux vehicles and fire additional rounds of tear gas. The first one was not enough, so let's fire another one. They seem to be very insistent. And now this incident has drawn condemnation from activists and civil society organizations who describe the use of force as an assault on democratic expression and a declaration of war on Nigerians. Filing the reports or looking into the research, we've not heard the MTNs, the Airtel, the Globalcom, the T-Mobile, all of them together. They have publicly accused the Senate of half-truths, insisting that Nigeria's telecom infrastructure is already capable of supporting real-time electronic transmission of election results. And they dismissed the Senate's claim of network inadequacy as unfounded. So this is where we are when it comes to this. Now, I knew that this was going to cause a fuss from the very start when the Senate decided to remove a phrase or a word or a conjoined word, real time, which is what Nigerians want. But there has been arguments that, look, there will be, or there might be glitches. Remember glitches in the 2023 general elections? That's right. Then there might be glitches. There are arguments that support the fact that, well, yes, we understand electronic transmission, okay, we are okay in that, but real time, as the results are coming out, it should be real time. People will manipulate it. I mean, consider the fact that some of these telco companies, they're even foreign. Yes, I remember and I recall that one of our family members, an eagle in his own right, Yusuf, had indeed put that out. Because there are some parts of the country that has no network, no villages rather. But it really shocks me to discover that in those parts or in those villages, POS works. No, I'm not trying to be, I'm just saying that yes, some parts, they have no network, understandably so. It's fluctuating, maybe not like there is no network, but it fluctuates. But yet the POS business works in these places. Some of the network dealings happen in these places. And yes, it could also be hacked. There might be cyber attacks. And there might also be international influence. Oh, after all, we're the ones who are running the telco companies in that country, so let's see how we can decide who it is that's going to emerge as the winner. But doesn't this also give Nigeria an opportunity to fix the system? Especially when the telcos are also saying that, look, these are half-truths. We have capacity to function, consolidate on what is on ground, make it better, and ensure that the yearnings of the larger society, because I know that it's not everybody that agrees to the electronic transmission of results side by side with manual transmission of results. Shouldn't this be an opportunity for us to get it right once and for all? I mean, if we are to look into countries that have adopted electronic transmission of results, they have registered more successes than the previous way, the archaic way of manual transmission of results. They've experienced more successes. Well, our guest is Sir Benedict Olaleko Agunloye. He's going to be adding his voice very, very quickly in the discourse this morning. And it's going to be a very straightforward conversation so that it will allow for ample time for you to also give your thoughts. In case you're just tuning in, let me revise. First of all, of course, we looked into the fact that the House was in a rowdy shape. It forced them into having a closed-door executive session. Because there are some persons who are still saying, hey, this has got to be real time. That's what the people want. There was a vote, and it does seem as though the nays had it, but Tajuddin Abbas probably heard differently. So he said the ayes had it. And that's what caused that. Secondly, of course, the protest that went down at the National Assembly area, where peaceful protesters were dispersed with tear gas. They were tear gassed. And remember, we had conversations about tear gassing, when it should be used, when it should be deployed. Did a peaceful protest warrant to tear gassing? Because there's no place that says there was a counter-peace protest. But they didn't tear gas once, they tear gas twice. People got injured. Some people just collapsed. In a democratic society. The third aspect now is the fact that the telcos are saying that the Senate is speaking in riddles, half-truths. That they have capacity to ensure real-time transmission of election results to the INEX IREV portal. Sir B, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Right. Sir B, what do you make of all of these? Because there are questions the Nigerians are asking. There are concerns the Nigerians have. How do the telcos claim?
I think to start with,
okay, go ahead.
The rowdiness in the session is for me shows that even the so-called opposition are not serious.
Okay.
Because the basis is this. If the lower house and the upper house, the two chambers have passed the different versions. Mm-hmm. Only one version will go to the president. So whether you like it or not, the lower house version cannot go. Just like the upper house version cannot go without harmonization.
Okay.
So for anybody to openly decry the need for harmonization only shows that they are either ignorant of their responsibility in a bicameral legislation, or they are simply playing to the gallery to cover for their failure at properly engaging their colleagues to get results. So, to that extent, I think there was no need at all for the uproar. And as many as are involved in the uproar should actually cover their face in shame. You can consent the procedures for the amendment. You can still stand your ground as to what you want to say and what you think should go. But to insist that there cannot be a review or a reversal where the two houses have got different positions, I think was very wrong. So to that extent, I think that those who take the uproar, those who take the walkout, are only doing what you would call the case of vocal minority.
Okay.
It's a democracy. So whether we like it or not, majorities are meant to have their way. Minorities must necessarily have their say. But in trying to have your say is not to also attempt to bully the majority.
Okay.
And I think as they are getting their results, it became obvious in this instance that they were the ones who were the bullies. It's the minority in this case that were busy trying to bully the majority, at least in my opinion, from what is obvious from the altercations and the participation.
Right.
So that, to that extent, I think the opposition had not been fair to the nation, did not been fair to their constituents, and did not been fair to the people. So like we would always say, vocal minority should not expect to have their way all.
Okay.
So they can gain public traction, they can gain public opinion, right? To say, oh, they are this, they are that. But the reality is that sometimes it's also more of a pretension. That's the way I see it. They know they cannot win because they don't have the majority. So the best bet is to make sure that the discussion did not happen at all, or that it happened in a manner that has been thoroughly discredited.
Okay. Let's
And I think that
yeah.
that is what they have done.
Yeah, let's quickly look at the protest that went down yesterday, the peaceful protest, and all of the misgivings also transpired because as it stood, or as it stands, yeah, there were some demands that protesters were seeking. And they are saying mandate real-time electronic transmission of polling unit results to INEC's iRev portal and restore a 360-day notice period for elections, which, of course, I think the Senate... What do you make of these demands, and do you think they remain sacrosanct in the light of this discourse?
Sanction for vote buyers, sanction for vote buying, whichever length they put it, I think it's a welcome development, and all the parties concerned, rather than do the shouting game, should make their case known. The fact that they are the minority does not mean that they cannot convince their colleagues to support the popular view.
Yeah.
Because when you see vote buying or election manipulation, it happens across all parties, whether major or minor. Every to have majority.
Yeah, but
so I think that is okay.
But
on the issue of electronic transmission,
yes.
On the issue of electronic transmission, this is my position.
Okay.
That whoever say we have 93% penetration is a liar. Now, there is what we call sample survey. I can do a sample of 200 towns in Nigeria, right? And then I say I have 93% coverage in them. But have you gone to Beniguari local government? Have they gone to Borno State? Have they gone to Yobe? Have they gone to part of Niger? Now, when was this survey they are referring to done? Was it before Boko Haram? Was it after Boko Haram? Now, what I would have expected from the legislators is to say, on this issue of penetration or coverage, let us go back to our give us 1 week, right, to go back to our constituency and test across the electoral wards in our constituency and come back with our own report.
Okay.
Now, you don't need an expert to do that. And even if you want to engage experts, it should be at your own discretion. But every legislator should go back to his constituency and come back with the primary evidence to say that, okay, I am the senator from Mundo North, I have 64 electoral wards, and in all my 64 electoral wards, there can be transmission. And let Undume go to his own packet for you, visit all the electoral wards, if he has the guts, and come back and say, I have visited all my electoral wards, and these are evidence of what we have. It's possible for them to visit their electoral ward under their constituency within a week or and report back to the parliament. Not quoting Mike Guinea, not quoting any surveillance by anybody.
So
they should have gone out practically. And then come back with reports. They have all of them have what they call constituency offices or whatever they call them. They have representatives in the ward. So do your own independent survey, federal constituency by federal constituency, and let's have the results from the 360 federal constituency as it is today.
So you're saying it's based on assumption. It's based on assumption.
Any survey or any statistics that you do not have control.
Is it based on the assumption? You're saying their reports, their stand is based on assumption. That's what you're saying. Is that what you're saying, Serbi?
That's what I'm saying. That they should not base their results on any other third party information. They, as people from those constituencies, should have gone back home. So all this while,
let me ask
and do their survey and come up with their empirical data for and against.
So the Nigerians,
I don't think has been done.
So Nigerians who have gone on the street to protest, as it yesterday, and were tear gas, you think that they are only protesting also based on assumption?
There is what you call the concept of the vocal minority. The minority in the National Assembly has been more vocal in recent times.
Now I'm talking about protest outside at the National Assembly.
And they tend to have sway. These voters are reacting based on what information? That's the question. Based on the debate that is on the table. That's why somebody have possibly galvanized their opinion and put them on the street. They themselves, how many have been to constituencies other than their own and can prove point blank that we have penetration of 93%.
So we also
think it's an assumption.
We also saying that the telcos saying that the Senate is telling half truths, that they're capable. They're only also making statements that will only favor them. Is that what we're saying too?
Sure.
Okay.
For me, the telcos are making statements that will favor them.
Right.
In the end, they are going to have some measure of rollout. When MTN say we have 93% penetration, where is the 93? MTN should tell us what they have done in Biningwari in the last 2 years. For instance, how many new masts have they rolled out in Kaduna South or in Biningwari or in Kodinga or in Yobe or in Adamawa North? Even in Borno, what have they done new in the last 2 years? So it's not about making. That's why I said leave NTN, leave anybody making statements. Those who are in those constituencies, right? The people who are present in those electoral wards. We have more than 760,000 polling units, but there are 8,809 electoral wards or thereabouts. People in those 8,809 electoral wards, have we actually spoken to them, or we are just talking to the city people? You know, my issue here is not about election can be transparent and the rest, but what matters to me is the life of the people in those places. If there are no network in those places, the people who are there are suffering. That's the primary reality. And so we should be more focused on what do we do to get penetration to those places. Let USPA come and tell us what have they done new in the last 5 years. Like I said, all the new rollouts not existing. What are the new places that MTN, for instance, has rolled out to in the last 2 years? So all of them claiming, no, we're not saying you are not competent, we're not saying you are not capable, but we are saying as it is today, the available infrastructure does not justify the claim. And that's what we are saying. And if you want to say otherwise, the only empirical evidence, in our opinion, that will counter it and lay the matter to rest is that this House of Rep member, the 360 of them, particularly those who are disgruntled, should go back to their constituency, go around your electoral ward, do your survey, get the input of the people, and then let's bring it together. If 93% actually say yes, then you have a basis to prove your point. But without interacting with the people, I don't know when last a Senator Ali Ndume, for instance, tore his senatorial district and said he has gone from ward to ward. And then he can now come back and say, I'm speaking on behalf or based on the empirical facts that I have gathered, having gone around my ward. It's not sitting in Abuja and making assumptions. Some of us travel. Maybe in the last 1 year, I've not done so much travel, but at some point, I go as much as 28 to 32 states in this nation within a year or two. And you will know that the roads are there to tell you that you can be for 1 or 2 hours in some part of the country without any trace of any network. So how they arrived at 93% is my worry. And that's why I would insist the right evidence, the only empirical evidence that will get that to me is that the 360 House of Rep members should go back to their constituency, visit the electoral wards, and take sample and interact with the people and come back with evidence that there is network or there is no network. If they have not done that, whatever they are saying to me would still appear like a vocal minority claim.
All right, let's put it back to your thoughts now. Go on a timeout as the phones are already buzzing so that we can hear from Nigerians. We'll be right back in a short bit with this conversation. I mean, it's a very serious conversation right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
FCT Youth, this is your call to duty. On Saturday, the 21st of February, this election is about your future, not violence, not thuggery. Say no to vote buying. Say no to intimidation. Your vote is your power. Your vote is your voice. Come out calmly. Stand in line peacefully. Vote without fear. Exercising your vote is your civic progress. Choose the future you deserve. This message is brought to you by the National Youth Council of Nigeria, FCT chapter.
Things they happen for our community,
Now I can recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Yeah, that woman own don't finish.
My dear, let's go and greet them, okay?
Hey! Join media collation and awareness to hold trafficking, MICAs, on I Wish I Knew drama and program our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAs and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
And so we're back right here with a time in. Thank you for staying through and sticking out. Right now, we're still having the conversation on here. I mean, matters of concern, the rowdiness right there. And of course, the issue, the concern, the protesters being dispersed with tear gas and to the place of the telcos, calling the Senate and saying that, look, hey, you're just telling Nigerians half truths. We have capacity. We're permeated through, and we can indeed ensure real-time election results transmission right there. And yeah, there's been also, a serious issue. One of such would be about borders around certain sections, right? If I'm not mistaken now, is it section 30 of the Electoral Act, and as well as 28, right? From the place of punitive measures, that there should be stricter punitive measures that will indeed get anybody who is into vote buying to, desist and stop, as well as the place that concerns the real-time, electronic transfer or transmission of results. Right now, I'm giving you the number already, but in case you're just tuning in for the first time, you can as well get onto the YouTube channel and have a playback on YouTube, or even write Eagles TV playback on YouTube, or even write Eagles TV Abuja. It is on YouTube, and on Facebook it is at Eagles FM Abuja. Spread those beautiful lofty wings across every other social media platform as you know it, at Eagles FM Abuja, and there you will find the 0907-353-0044. Giving you the number again, 0907-353-0044. The WhatsApp portal number is 0909-705-4450. Hello and good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
I'm New from Masaka.
All right, welcome aboard. Talk to us. Go ahead, very quickly.
Please, I just want to clear the air concerning the Chegas, police Chegas people yesterday.
Yes, please.
I was not there, but I heard in the news that those people protesting were trying to force themselves into the National Assembly quarters.
Right.
To force themselves through the gate. And the gate was locked, according to what I heard in the news. So they were trying to force the gate open. That was why the police Chegas them.
Okay.
Yes, it's good to protest, but while protesting, they should protest within the ambit of the law.
Right.
Couple times, if police do something, people will come out to criticize police, speaking against the police, but they will not find out what the person did or what the public are doing before police did that. Police cannot fold their hands and allow them to force the gate open, because when they go there, they might burn the National Assembly down, or they might just go straight to those people, to the honorables in the National Assembly and begin to fight them. Yes, I'm not citing the National Assembly. They should do what is right. But while we are telling them to do what is right, we should try also to do everything within the ambit of the law. Thank you.
Appreciate that one from you. Two wrongs can't make a right. Yes, the number is still 0907-353-0044. We do not even support that type of gangsterism. I mean, every time we say it here, civility and responsibility is very, very necessary. So you don't become like the same people you're pointing fingers at. Well, there are also laid-back news. Deferring news from what you mentioned, my dear Eagle. But then again, what is wrong and must be condemned. Right now, taking this one here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, please. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is John Michael, calling from Abuja.
All right, John Michael, talk to us. Go ahead. Where in Abuja are you?
Okay, I'm calling from Lugbe.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, it's a good development if the NNCC have come up to say they have, the power to transfer the electoral district life. You understand? Because I'm saying this because of where I came from. I vote before I came from, before I left the village. And in my own polling unit, there's no network there. Even in my village, there's no network. I have a polling unit in my village, and I have it in another place before they brought it to my village. But there's no network in my village that I'm talking to you.
Right.
So if they can come up and say that they can cover it up, so what about my village? That means they are going to give us the network before the election.
Right.
That is why I say maybe it's a good development, because it's going to bring network to my own village now, and I have a polling unit there. Thank you.
All right. Right. That's what an Eagle is saying. It says, well, there is no network in my place, in my village. Yeah. But if the NCC and the telcos are saying that they can do this, what it means is there will be network in my village. So it means they'll do something about it and fix the poor or bad or no network situation in my village. And that will be development. Hello, good morning. Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, please. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Chimeze. I'm calling from Asokoro.
Very well, Chimeze. Let's get to hear you.
fine. I'll reference to your talk. There was a country. It's only here you hear somebody. I don't know if somebody who scored even 88% or 90% over 100 failed an election. When you hear some people talk, you are shocked at the level of their understanding. It's opaque. Listen, the National Assembly should pass the law as we want it here in Nigeria because they are afraid of losing. Some of them are there through the back door. Let us have a real-time election result submitted. Telcos have come to clear their name. I remember the U.S. President calling Nigeria an already disgraced country. They do not want to share in this disgrace because this country is not the only place they have their customer base. They have told you clear that they can meet up. We have NCC, they know the truth. So for somebody to come and say you have to go and do that investigation, I don't think he's speaking from the point of truth. It's very unfortunate. I really feel bad when I hear some people, we are entitled to our opinions. Now you say the minorities should have their say and the majority will have their way. Where does that happen? Were you not privileged to see what happened there? When the names had it and the speaker gave it to the years. What are we talking about in this country? For how long do we cover this evil going on in Nigeria for this country to be better? Do we do governance from tribalism, chameleonic nature, and opaque views? We are entitled, but don't just push it down. If you have 90%, you are fine. Telecoms have come out to tell you. We know that. Yakubu did what he did. Mahmoud did glitches till today. Did the federal government call him to explain what really glitched the system? That is what they want to repeat. As for the police using tear gas on protesters, yes, it's okay. Let them not add it a light bullet and come and tell us stories tomorrow.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
We are going there, and Nigeria will come back where truth, reality, and justice rules. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that from you. Now, Chimize having his thoughts. I mean, Sir B, I know you're here, but let's just before you have your reaction to some of the thoughts that the family members have put out, let me bring this one to you. It's coming from Yusuf. It says, "Good morning, UD and your guest. Good morning. Telecom Nigeria has capacity for real-time electoral transmission." Telcos are saying that. As a matter of fact, telcos in Nigeria have just opened our eyes to the influence they could have on our elections. Empirical evidence shows that these foreign-owned telcos has been inconsistent in providing network services across the country, akin to what we have in the power sector. Right? They will now be a strong decider of who wins an election in Nigeria. I ask, who are the owners of these telco companies? Who will bear the consequence if the system fails? Where is the legal framework to check these gaps? People often liken POS transactions and bank transactions to e-transmission of election results without considering the statistics of transaction failure and bank fraud to fortify their position. I, for instance, still have up to 5 unconcluded bank transactions which the banks have refused to rectify. A lot of fraud are committed online all over the world. More so, not all rural villages have internet networks, banks, and POS operators, so that argument has K-leg. If the issue is real time, I am not for it now. I stand by the decision of the National Assembly, and he says, have a nice day. This one coming from Udokama, writing from Otaku now, says, please ask our guest if there is no network in those places he mentioned, why are bandits kidnapping and still making calls from these places you mentioned, and they are not trying to hide something from us? Are they not trying to hide something from us? If there's no network, then add it in the budget of INEC to cover those places for the use of network. Thank you, he says. Well, Sir B, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what's been said.
My position is straight. Good enough that somebody called that actually mentioned that in my polling unit there was no network. In fact, in my entire village there is no network. I think at least that brings to bear the fact that those who said some people have no network are not lying.
Okay.
Now, of course, for the message you read, yes, if the telcos promise and it didn't happen, who do we hold responsible? Yes, there are ATM or there are POS machines working in several places. But we have asked, who is using POS in Kodunga? Who is using POS in Beningwari as of today? It's not working. You do POS transaction and it fails. And it takes you days to resolve. Is that what we want for the elections?
Right.
I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Understood, clearly.
It fails and then it takes forever to resolve. And because it's individual, you can bear it. Do you think if that can happen with an election, would everybody take it straight? And those who are claiming, 93%, have they done any of their independent survey? If you sit in your cozy office in Abuja or Lagos or Port Harcourt, you may not really understand what we are saying. But even in Abuja, when you live in Wuye, or you have your office in Wuye, or in some part of Kubwa, or in some part of Jikoyi, that is within Amak. There are places within Amak that the network is either too weak or not there, before you talk of the rest of the nation. So those who are opposing, because it doesn't take 10 years to do a survey by the National Assembly members in their constituency. And of course, for those who say you cannot repeal and revise what the House of Rep has approved, they also don't understand process. Because without harmonizing between the House of Rep and the Senate, then the bill is not even ready at all. So if you say you are not ready to adjust, then what you are simply saying is you are okay with the old law. Because the new one cannot pass until there is concurrence between the House and the Senate. So what is the meaning of the day? If we say let's repeal this and amend it, and you say no, what is the implication of the nay? You are saying you don't need the law at all. That's the implication, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it.
Because it cannot go as far if the Senate does not concur. And now you have concurrence with Senate. Let us repeal and repass. But out of excitement or over excitement, or do we call it ignorance, or do we call it mischief, whatever we call it, you say no, you cannot repeal and you cannot repass. So if you cannot repeal and you cannot repass, then you have, and remember that INEC has already started using the 2022 law. The election procedure has commenced as far as INEC is concerned, because there is no new law counteracting the 2022. So the more you delay on this, the more irrelevant the positions become. So even if the law becomes so beautiful and it cannot be operated, to whose benefit? It will just have amount to waste of resources, waste of energy, waste of time, and waste of emotion.
Right.
That's the way it is.
Right. Let's take
so
this
basically, these House members need to know that in passing law, there is the need for concurrence.
Okay.
And so you have to put your strong argument forward, not your strong protest. Not your strong protest, not boycotting. In a number of decisions in the House, it says number present and voting. Is it not? So when you take a walk out, you are counted as not present. Well, and those who are present will then go ahead and take the decision in your absence, and the decision will be binding because they are present and they voted.
Let me put a peg to your thoughts. Let's just take this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, please. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Uche.
Uche, where are you calling from?
Akamata.
All right, go ahead.
Yudi.
Yes, please.
I want to ask a question.
Please go ahead.
Why is the network providers or the House of Assembly complaining that there will be network glitches? This same House of Rep members, are they not watching the videos of these bandits coming out in these local villages that they complain that there will be glitches in network? Have they not watched where they carry out their live section when they are committing their evil acts? Is it not all over the media? Those places that you mentioned, are they not doing transactions? Are there no POS operators all over there? Why is the National Assembly speaking on behalf of the INEC? I think it is the duty and responsibility of INEC to come out and tell us that so places there there will be no network, or look at what will be their challenge. And let me shock you.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that was budgeted for this election alone for INEC? Why is it that they carry 1.something trillion naira? Why is it that INEC cannot use that money to ensure that there will be a stable network in those places that they feel they will have network challenges? Is that supposed to be a reason enough? If not, that the National Assembly is shameless, because they are the ones who's supposed to ask INEC all of these questions. With the money allocated to them, there should be a stable network, and there should not be excuses. With the amount of money allocated to this electoral body, they should be questioned. What are they using the money for?
Well,
what are the money budgeted for election? What are they using it for? Is that supposed to be an excuse why Nigeria should not have a fair, credible election?
Okay. All right, Uche. Thank you for want of time. Can't go further, but thank you still. Now, I see Samuel from Kuje says, greetings, UD. Greetings to you too. Of a truth, our lawmakers are taking us for granted in this country. They want to force into our throats their own selfish and evil agenda. What exactly do they want? And what will they gain from these hide-and-seek games that they are playing with our collective intelligence in this country? Do they know that Nigeria is bigger than all of them put together? They should stop using electoral reform bill to divert our attention from the reality of things happening in this country. Bikonu. And he says, thank you and have a great day. All right. I don't know. In view of a question that Uche has asked, didn't we also have the time that we have asked this question severally? What is going on? Nigerian military, Nigerian army, security operators personnel. Can you not track these people, these bandits, these terrorists who maim, who kill, and put it right there, right in front of us, and show it to us? Show us how they're spending monies, the monies in boxes and low. Well, they came out to tell us that they are using internet from other countries, so it's hard to track that the IP, and they gave us all of that. That's pretty hard to track. Well, that's what they said right there. Okay, I'll just try as much as I could to put out this one here, and it will be the very last that we will indeed have as a voice note on this very prog show this morning. So let's just go take a listen to it.
Good morning, Mr. UD.
Yes.
My name is Ochman from Local Goma.
All right, Ochman.
Mr. UD. See, for me, it's not an issue of network that actually making them not to approve the use of e-transmission. Okay. For me, I believe that those airlines or those people know that if they should do a kind of a free and fair election and transmit live, that most of them are going to lose their seats. Okay. So the only way they can retain their seat is by not approving it. But let me tell you one thing: if I thought there's a village that there's no network now, sir, from now to election is up to a year or more, if I'm not mistaken. What does it take the government to actually fix the network? If they really want to do it, they can okay, no network yet. Okay, they now map out those areas and fix it. It doesn't take anything. Compared to money they are looting and the stealing here and there. For me, if they agree to do this e-transmission, believe me, what Nigerians will do what those airlines never expected, because enough is enough. Enough is allowing thieves, rogues to lead us. We are done with that. We need people who are capable, not this set of rogues that we have now.
Okay, right. We need people who are capable, he says. He said, but let's clarify something. The Senate did not throw away real electronic transmission. In fact, it only said that it's going to be pari passu manual. So where the electronic is not able to come through, the manual, at least we should have a substitute. And that's of a thinking mind, if you ask me, though. Yeah, we should have a substitute by the sideline so that we still ensure that this job is done. The only issue is the real time, and that's where they have an issue with that, okay? But in few words, if you can, maybe 2 sentences, if you can, please, Sir B, what will be your cap on this? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, in maybe 1 line, if you can, right? Time is really against me. What's your final thoughts? Maybe 1 sentence, if you can.
No, you see, basically, electronic transmission is desirable. Punishing offenders is desirable. But again, we need to look at the timeliness first. It's right that election cycle ended in 2003. All the cases were done by 2024. So you would have expected that by 2024, the need to do this law would have been done. If that was when they do it, then you could say, oh, next election must be real-time electronic transmission. And that gives you enough time to roll out the network in the places where there are no network.
Right.
Now, as of today, if we are claiming 93% penetration, it means that they are not ready to do any additional rollout. That's the implication, if you ask me.
Okay.
Because 93% is not just an A, it's a super A, right? So 93% means there is nothing new to be done. But the practical reality is there is so much to be done.
Right.
So in my opinion, I think that 93% is a false
So finally,
so let's accept it. Let's accept it what is rational. Decide to roll out network in those places because it is in the interest of the people. So if we decide, we will roll out the network over the next 180 days, and everybody will be ready for the election, that would be great. But if you are speaking for electronic transmission, and you are not talking about the underserved, being fair to the people, you are being unfair to the nation, you are being selfish. That's the practical reality.
Okay,
so we must be concerned about the people who are not served.
So, Sir B, in your final...
to get them adequately served.
So for
once that is done, whatever method we want to use will be fine.
So for a yes or no answer to this question now, you are accepting and you're okay, should adopt what the Senate stance has been on electronic transmission as well as manual transmission. You are okay with that, yes or no?
Yes, I'm okay with that. Remove the word real time because real time is not achievable as we are, except we do further deployment.
All right, thank you so much, Sir B, for being a part of this one, adding your voice in the discourse and throwing more light in it. Thank you, far too kind. Right, and that's where we call it a close. And just as also to put it out there that the views expressed by guests and callers are theirs alone and do not reflect those of Eagles 10.